Hi, and welcome to Swoosh English's series on PTE. Today, we're going to look a bit at the PTE Writing Academic series. We're also going to follow up with extra video lessons on the speaking test, the listening test, as well as the reading test. So, my name is Scott, and I'm going to be your teacher to guide you through these video lessons. So, let's get a bit of a closer look at me. Scott from Ireland, Northern Ireland, should I say. I am from the very north coast of Northern Ireland, from a little town called Portrush. Beautiful scenic views overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and the various bays. So I've been teaching English now for 3 years. I have taught in many places, including online with Swoosh English, but I have taught in schools in Vietnam, in Australia, as well as in China. I have taught many age groups, right down from young kindergartens to older business English executives. I've got plenty of academic English experience, including PTE, which I taught briefly in Australia, as well as now with Swoosh English. I've got plenty of IELTS experience. I've taught Cambridge English, as well as OET, as well as in addition to very recently teaching English for academic purposes at a university in Beijing in China. It's been a great experience, and I really actually enjoy this job, and I especially enjoy the academic side of these exams because they are pretty tough, and I enjoy sharing my knowledge with the various students I have taught in order for them to hopefully pass the exams and further their careers or whatever they want to do with a qualification in PTE, for example. So that's enough about me. Let's get back onto the lesson today, PTE Writing Academic. So our lesson aims today, well, what are we going to look at? Well, we're looking at a specific part of the PTE exam today. That is going to be the write essay task. No doubt one of the toughest parts of any exam is writing a long academic essay. Well, PTE is no different, and the academic exam for this test is pretty tough. So that's why we're looking at it today, because there's plenty of information we can give, plenty of advice that can be given to students in order to ace this part of the test. We're going to look at the components of the task, how we can break it down, how we can proceed with our broken down components of the test, and how we can hopefully put together some strategies in order to get the highest mark possible as part of the write essay task. So when breaking down the components of this task, we have divided it into a 3-step strategical process. The 3 steps we're going to discuss in detail, hopefully with some practice and some bit more procedure that you've put into your own studies, that you can start to put these 3-step processes into your own strategy for the PTE test. A bit more about what those are in a little bit. We're going to look at some sample essays. No doubt a great way for anyone to get their head around exactly what they have to do and the type of tasks that they have to do is to look at some sample essays. Well, we're going to do that today, and we're going to critique them. We're going to see what's been done well and what can be improved on. Maybe you'll find some mistakes that you've made in your own tests, which might appear as part of these sample essays, or maybe you'll find some things that you've done very well as well. Well, we're going to see what works and what doesn't work as part of our sample essay breakdown. And then finally, we're going to get onto a very important and often overlooked component of any academic essay is giving some review advice. What do you do when you finished an essay? Do you put your head down, have a sleep? Do you look around until the time has passed? Or do you do some things in order to ensure that what you've written is at the very best quality? Well, we're going to look through the things that you should be doing as part of your review once you've written your task and you're waiting around for the end of the test in order to hopefully maximize some points or some marks that you might not have gotten if you didn't review. 3 parts of the test today, or of our lesson today. We're going to go through them. Anyway, first of all, a bit more information on exactly what you're going to be doing as part of this write essay task today. Well, first of all, what is the task? You would be right. I have said it is an essay, but does anyone have any other information on what this essay might be? Well, to be precise, it is an argumentative essay. It's an essay in which you have to discuss opinions, often 2 sides to a discursive debate. You have to identify both sides of the argument, find which side you agree with, explain that point, give evidence, and then summarize it all in a coherent way. That is what an argumentative essay pretty much is in a nutshell. How many words do you have to write? You would be right in thinking that it's more than 200. It is. It is 200 to 300 words in length. So quite similar to other academic pieces of writing for various tests, including IELTS and Cambridge. However, it is a little bit more forgiving in terms of its word length. You have between 200 and 300 words. And like any test, often you have a bit of a 10% leeway regarding your word count. So you can write as little as 180 words and as many as 330 words without being penalized. It is fairly long. Most importantly, how long do you have to complete this task? Well, you have 20 minutes to complete this task. It's not a lot of time for an essay of this length, so it is especially difficult for the PTE exam. How we're going to do writing all these words in a 20-minute frame? Well, let's get on to the next part of the video lesson in order to start breaking down the components and hopefully having a good time along with it as well. So when I bring you to this ask and answer session, you'll notice one word that dominates in the very middle of this screen. Yes, it is advertising. That might be a clue in terms of what we're going to be looking at in terms of our mock essay component today. First of all, I want you guys to treat this like you're in the classroom with a real teacher. You're sitting down with a partner and your teacher has given you some discussion questions in order for you to start thinking about and formulating your ideas on the given topic. This is what we're going to do now. So our first question today is, what makes an ad memorable? Do you enjoy advertisements first and foremost? If you do, then you probably have an idea of advertisements that are memorable to you for various reasons. Why are they memorable? Well, for me, I find advertisements memorable if they involve a catchy tune. You can think of the McDonald's adverts, for example. Often they have little catchy theme tunes or jingles or sounds which stay in your mind, sometimes irritatingly, sometimes amusingly. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, they stay, and that makes it memorable. What else makes an advertisement memorable? Well, maybe something being funny or amusing. A bit of humor goes a long way in making an advertisement catchy and memorable, as well as something that's possibly large in budget and very visually arresting. Anyone can probably think of a very expensive advertisement which might have all three of those components: the jingle, the humor, as well as something that's very eye-catching, visually arresting. That makes it a very, very effective advertisement and also makes it very memorable too. But sometimes it can be the simple advertisements too that make it memorable. What are some effective adverts you have seen lately? Could be on TV. Well, it could be online. I hate to keep saying it, but the McDonald's advert does work. Memorable, catchy with that little jingle at the very end. Often they have very visually arresting views of their products, for good or for bad. It works. A very interesting advertisement I have seen recently has involved an advertisement for a glasses company in which there's a sheepdog and a farmer, and the farmer is trying to herd his sheep into a pen in rural England, for example. But unfortunately, his eyesight is so bad that he actually ends up herding the dog into the pen and putting a leash around the sheep's neck like it's a dog, and he walks off with the sheep. The dog looks very, very confused. Why is he in the pen? And the sheep also looks equally confused, going, why am I going away with this farmer? Funny advertisement for making sure that you keep your glasses updated and you also keep your eyesight as good as possible. It worked. It was amusing. Had a very serious song in the background, which made it kind of interesting. Serious song, funny advert. Do I laugh? Yes, I did. It worked. What have you found very interesting lately on TV or online in terms of an advertisement? What is the best way to advertise to children? What about adults and what about seniors? Well, first of all, myself being an adult and likely the person at the end of this video is also an adult. What works for you? What type of advertisement works the best for you in terms of where do you see it? Do you see it on TV? Do you see it on a website? Do you see it on social media? Are you driving out in the city or in the countryside and you see advertisements everywhere on billboards or in buildings? Does that work for you? Or is it maybe it's more audio based? You hear it on the radio. You hear it being played maybe on the street, for example, in terms of like an audio advertisement, maybe with someone dancing as well. It works. What about children? How are they advertised to? Well, you'd be right in thinking, because I do think it's right, that children have their own methods of picking up advertisements. Often Advertisements for children with various products are very, very cartoonish and they're very funny, and they involve lots of bright colors in order to advertise the various products that children are interested in. Seniors, on the other hand, yep, what kind of advertising are they interested in? Would they be interested in cartoon characters and dancing and singing? Probably not. Would they also be very tech savvy in that they hear their advertisements or see them online on Facebook or on Twitter or YouTube, on various websites? Maybe, maybe not. Even though most seniors now are becoming a lot more internet and tech savvy, they probably still resort to their old school styles of advertising in the newspapers, on the radio, maybe word of mouth in the streets. But there's a variety of them depending on the person. What do you think? What are the harmful and the beneficial effects of advertising? Do we always think that advertising is a good thing? Do we think it's a really bad thing? Often the truth is somewhere in the middle. I personally think that advertisements can be harmful. They're a very, very effective way of making people buy what they don't need. These products could be very addictive as well, and also it might actually edit someone's mindset in terms of becoming very materialistic. They're always exposed to these products, and they always feel like they need to buy these products because often advertisements are very, very effective in making people want to buy things. So, where do we draw the line? Can it be beneficial? Well, yes, it depends what's being sold. There might be advertisements for NGOs, for charities, and it's always good to know about these products. There might even be advertisements that are not actually being targeted on selling something. It could be just information. So it's always good to be informed about various things. And also, well, in order to keep our society going in a capitalist way, we need to advertise, need to sell. So it's obviously beneficial for everyone's combined wealth, I suppose. What do you think? How easy do you think it is to influence children with advertising? Well, golden dollar question, right? Children, I ultimately think, are very, very, very easily influenced by advertising because children are a lot more sporadic and spontaneous than adults are in terms of wanting to get things, especially the sort of things that are advertised to children often, like toys and sweets and candies and the latest products. The subliminal advertising techniques work very well in making kids want things. And also, kids don't really have a concept of money or value. They don't work, they don't understand the cost of things, so they think that money effectively grows on trees sometimes. So the parents will be encouraged to buy these for the kids because the kids want them. So it's a very effective way for a company to make some money based on advertising to kids, and often to the ire and irk of the parents. What do you think? Final question today regarding our ask and answer. Should advertisers be allowed to advertise to children? I ultimately think yes, but it should be controlled for the reasons I have stated there previously. Once again, kids need to be informed of the various products, well, not just the kids, but also the parents, involving the various products that are being released day to day for children. And the best way to be informed about that is obviously advertisements. There's only so much you can find out by yourself in your day-to-day life, often when parents are working and incredibly busy. But for the same reasons, these advertisers need to be controlled, they need to be moderated in order to not take advantage of any sort of situation, especially like the spontaneous wanting of children in regards to the newest toys and gadgets and sweets, candies, etc. Just my opinion. Well, I hope that some of these questions have helped you to brainstorm and formulate your own ideas on the topic of advertising, because we're going to take those forward into the next part of our writing essay today.